Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Michelle Aubin, and I am a leadership coach for heart-centered managers who want to have a high-performing team with less stress for everyone involved. And today I want to talk about a situation that came up with a client of mine. She was expressing that her team sometimes questions her decisions, and then what happens is she goes home and thinks about it and questions them herself. So this can happen a lot with heart-centered managers and intuitive people and introverted people because we are the type of people who think deeply and we care a great deal about the impact we make when we make decisions. And so we can often ruminate and chew on things longer than we need to. So I want to talk today about how to work with this situation. So when your team questions your decisions, it could be for a number of reasons, and not everybody's on board. You want everyone to be on board. But I think the thing to keep in mind is that this may not be about you as a person, as an individual. Sometimes people come to the team. Maybe you've inherited the team. Maybe you got promoted from within. Maybe you didn't have an opportunity to hire everyone, so you didn't get to pick who's on your team. And they can come with a history of having issues with authority figures, with teachers, with parents, with other supervisors and bosses where they did not feel respected and heard. And this is not to excuse their behavior. Some of this can be subconscious, some of this can just be defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms that people have developed over the years. You know, the classic resisting of authority that people have, whether it's subconscious or conscious, and it's not about you. And then here you are, you're the one who has to deal with their kind of psychological coping mechanism. And it's not productive and it's not helpful. And what you really want is you want everyone to be a part of the team. You want everyone to participate fully. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I want to share today. I think maybe ways to think about this. And one of them is that you can't, I'm going to actually talk about two options. One of them, there may be more, but one of them would be to change your inner structure around this, which means to change how you think about it and just acknowledge I made the best decision I could make with the information I had, and I'm moving forward, and I do the best I can. And as I say that, I want to acknowledge that that can be very challenging for people that care deeply. It can be very challenging for people that are the internal thinker types. There are some people that automatically do that. That's how they go through life. And in a way, they're blessed. But for people that think deeply, it may be helpful to just tell yourself that I don't need to keep thinking about this. I can move on. I do the best I can. A second strategy would be to change the external structure. And by that, I mean to incorporate collaborative decision making into your process. So consider the decision making cycle. Not all decisions fall into this, but there are some decisions where you have enough time in your calendar, in the decision making cycle, that you can incorporate as much participation from your team as possible. Some decisions you don't have that time. You just need to make a decision and just move on. But when you have time to gather everyone's opinion, this can go a long way towards sort of minimizing the second guessing that your team does. And so what I recommend is to structure this in, which I'm just going to name a couple of ways you can do this. One of them is to use your weekly staff meetings as a way to solicit actively people's opinions, people's critiques, get all of their ideas out, get all of their feelings out about a particular decision, and do brainstorming, write things on the flip chart or whiteboard, and get it all out before the decision is made. And another way could be, if you don't have time to wait until the meeting, do it in an email, do it with one-on-one conversations. I would suggest doing it with every member of the team, making sure everyone is included in that process and letting them know you value anything they have to say before you make your decision. So I am going to do another video on running teams this way, but just to kind of plant the seed for you that go around to everyone, or do it somehow, do it on a Trello board, do it somehow where you give everyone the time and the space to share their criticisms, their support, their questions, and let them get it out of their system. And it will help you to make a better decision. So that can help them feel heard. That can help them feel that you really do care about their ideas. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, if they are not used to experiencing this from employers before you come along and do this, they may not trust that you really do want to hear everything they have to say. So it's important to build this in on a regular basis, and just to acknowledge that at first people may hold back, and you can reassure them you really do want to take into account everything they have to share about this topic. And over time, if you do this regularly and if you do it consistently, then they will trust that you mean what you say. They will know that you really do want to hear from them. They will feel strengthened in the communication process with you. They will know that you mean it when you say you want to hear all of their opinions before you make your decision. So I just want to add as well, you're not telling them, that they are making the decision, unless you invite them to be part of a committee or whatever process you're making. If you delegate the decision making to an individual or a group, what you're doing is you're just saying you want to hear everyone's input so that you can make the best decision. So just be clear on that as well, so that people don't get surprised when you then say, if they do come back to you and say, well, why did you do this? Say, well, I took everything into account. I made the best decision based on everyone's sharing. And again, if they come to you later and question your decision, you can kindly remind them. Now, you don't need to be defensive or feel attacked, because they just may not be used to the process. Kindly remind them that you gave them a chance to share, and that the decision's already been made in this instance. But in the future, please do share your ideas when I ask you for them, because I do find it helpful to get everyone's input. So there's a little bit of kind of a training process here when you do this on a regular basis. So if you do this consistently and regularly, this also should mitigate any questions you have and second guessing of yourself. Okay, so there's a couple of benefits to doing this. So this is the collaborative decision-making cycle, and I hope it works for you. And I will be doing another video, like I said, on doing meetings collaboratively, and I look forward to seeing you then.